What are you seeing in this Bucs offense right now?
You're seeing that this Bucs offense isn't ascending as Tom Brady is getting more comfortable. And I think, to me, that's troubling. To have the ups and downs, the type of roller coaster season he's having individually and as an offense, that scares you. Let's look at the two games that Tom Brady was pressured at least 10 times, the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears. Both of those games were losses for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of those games came with huge mistakes for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensively. And you just can't have that. If this is a team that's going to compete for a Super Bowl, you need healthy weapons. There's no Godwin. Mike Evans is banged up. O.J. Howard is out for the season. And now we're going to have to see Tom Brady make some things happen with a little lesser arsenal than we expected. And so this is going to be a huge week. What he can do with Preston and Zadarius Smith, what he can do with that back end of the Green Bay Packers is important, because if they lose this game, I believe it's time to press the panic button in Tampa Bay. They had a great opportunity to take hold of the NFC South, and they aren't doing that. They've now fallen back to the pack, and if the Packers win this week, I think there's big trouble in Tampa Bay.
I agree. And Nico, you were making a very interesting point as a longtime teammate of Tom Brady's about what you were seeing a little bit on the sideline as he has been yelling, which is something we've seen before, but it feels different now to you. Why is that?
Yeah, well, I think this is a first for Tom in a sense that this Tampa team lacks discipline. And when you have a game like last week where you have 9 penalties, that affects you offensively. You can't win a football game when you lead the league basically in penalties. And they're way up there in penalties this year. So you see some of these unnecessary roughness stuff. I think their center headbutted somebody after a big 15-yard gain. And as Tom starts to bark like he is on the sidelines right now, people see that and they hear it. But when you start to do that over and over and over again, it becomes kind of mute and people just kind of tune it out. And Tom is not used to having guys that aren't disciplined, that aren't making the right choices, that aren't aware of different things that are going on in a certain game at a certain point in the game where it's a must-have. And you see these plays happening, and it's pretty frustrating for Tom. You see that in his face. You see that in his reactions. And for him to move forward and that team to move forward and to be a winning team, they got to get better. They got to be more disciplined. They got to stop holding. They got to make the right decisions when they have to go out there and make a drive down the field, 12, 10-play drive without bringing it back for holding. So for me, it's the first time that I've seen him this frustrated this early in the season.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, you can see him sort of looking around like, hey, Bill's teams never did any of this stupid nonsense. Why are we getting involved in this? You've played against him so many times on good defenses. What are you seeing from Brady and his offense right now?
Well, I see an identity crisis, Greeny. What I see is a team that's trying to figure out what their philosophy is going to be about. It's the marriage between Bruce Arians' offense and Tom Brady and what he likes to do. We saw that when Peyton Manning went out to Denver. I think all is well. It's part of the process. Whenever you go to a new team, you have to teach them how they can be motivated, teach them how to be professionals. He was brought there to teach them how to be champions. And I think they're going to give him the respect that the GOAT deserves, and they're going to figure it out. You talk about what they have to do going against Green Bay this week. Well, Green Bay gives up 4.6 yards a carry. I think a healthy dose of Leonard Fournette, a healthy dose of Ronald Jones. I think sometimes when you have so many weapons on the outside, we get too cute, and we try and throw to these weapons where understanding everything is set up from the physicality. Listen, Green Bay defense is always great on the outside. How do you stop that pass rush? Run the football. How do you protect Tom Brady? Run the football. Set up play action down the field to those big weapons. That's how he's always been effective at every Patriots team that he's ever been a part of.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.